In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
It's been a while. Are we sure we know what we're doing?
Oh, absolutely not. I will say reports of our death have been greatly,
Accurate.
well, mostly accurate, actually. Yes.
Hey, I remember something.
See, I already beat you. My beer's already opened, and gosh darn it, it's been too darn long.
Way too long.
For those getting back into the groove like we're trying to do, if you're doing along at home, thank you for putting up with our absence, or actually, like I suppose, you're welcome for our absence,
For that respite. Yeah.
Yes, it was overdue, and it's honestly genuine in this moment in time. Chadwick and I started talking because we haven't actually even honestly really talked since
I haven't talked
the
to
last recording.
Yeah. That's not a realtor or blood relative at this point.
Or your blood boy. And so we started getting caught up, and we're like, no, let's hit record. So that's where we're at. And I think that's all at least this episode's going to be.
And that's it, dude. And before we did start recording, I just, you guys might have seen the Instagram post. I had to throw something up there. And I know I'm kind of speaking for both of us, but personally, I felt responsible because it's just too much real estate moving around, and we don't need to get into details. Like, I sold my shop space. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the auto obsessive garage. Empty. It's so sad.
There's only like the front bumper corner of an Altima or something.
Oh, that's the GX. Yeah, the GX.
Yeah, the Altima of SUVs.
my big Ultimate Energy. But that's really big Ultimate Energy. The GX. But yeah, dude, it's just the shop's empty. It was like super heartbreaking. So I just kind of want to post that. And then we're in limbo right now. So like my bandwidth's horrible, and I apologize. We shouldn't take it out on the audience. I think recording and posting a podcast is actually taking it out on the audience.
Fair.
But dude, it's just, and I apologize. And it was to Frank too,
No apologies.
Read the guy didn't even admit to reading the fucking post. This is how close we are.
I didn't even know. I'm like, what do you mean you just posted? That's how.
Dude, I even made it heartwarming. I even made it heartwarming at the end. I just, it's like spending time with my good friend talking about cars. Just a lot of it hit me. And I just said to Frank, like, this is a true story. I had to take a wheel off a car the other day, and I couldn't even find my sockets.
You're like twisting it like clockwise, like, how come this isn't working? Like, you just completely lost all your mojo.
I lost my power. Yeah, dude, it's so bad, dude. And just like, so I'm like, I'm not feeling myself. I haven't wrenched on a car for a while. We'll probably talk about that, but dude, I missed you, man. I missed doing this.
It's been too damn long. And you've done a bunch automotively, and I've done a bunch automotively. And so it's about damned time.
Yeah,
we got back in the saddle and had a conversation and drank a couple of beverages and just talked cars. Sure. And so all of you guys and gals at home, thank you for riding along with us.
Yes.
And putting up with our absence. Like, it's once, I do see, and I know you don't right now, Chadwick, but I do see a light at the end of your tunnel. And by that, I mean, I don't think you're going to die in like 4 weeks. I think what I'm saying is, come on, death. No,
Sweet release. Yeah, dude.
But what I'm saying is, I think you will be vaguely less busy. And honestly, I don't know. Like, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and we're both obviously, I think, like, visibly and audibly a little bit giddy to get back in the saddle here.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is, I don't know, maybe I'm a little hot to trot right now, but I would like us, once we get really back in a good rhythm again, to see what we can do to grow this thing a little bit, and what that looks like, and whether bringing more guests in. We were doing guests for a minute, and that's kind of fallen by the wayside. Doing that thing, I don't know, maybe getting Ling Long to sponsor us or something. I don't know, but finding something that we can do. I forgot, I'm a big Nexon or Mucho Macho truther, but like, no, I do think once we get back in here, I've missed it, and I would like a way to do this more and do it better, and we'll get there. So thanks for putting up with us in the meantime, y'all.
Yeah, and Frank, on that note, dude, our 3-year anniversary of this podcast is coming up November.
That's so insane.
November 24th, 2021. So I'm glad we got back together. We have a month, a little less than a month, to ramp up to get ready for our special 3-year. That's cool,
the 3-year anniversary, or whatever we're gonna do for the 3 year.
Every year you come up with the same thing.
Exactly. Oops, all anal.
Yeah,
But like, no, it's
it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise anymore.
Yeah, it's not a stretch to say that that's what I'm going to be doing. So no, what? Let's just do this. What the hell? What the hell have you been up to, my guy?
Well, a reformed car hoarder as I come to you today, folks. It's been a while, so I'm a different man.
It's been a while.
That empty garage didn't get that way without parting with some metal, some poorly assembled metal. Dude, I've sold a lot of shit lately, man. Tell
me more. One of them I was going to buy, and you sold it out from under me. And I'm not bitter. I'm actually thankful. But we'll get to that. Like, what have you been doing?
You're not the only one I sold it out from under, but more on that in a second. So, dude, I had too many projects and I wasn't going to catch up on anything, especially the situation now. And I don't want to get too many details, but the new place just has not just has, I don't mean it like that at all. As a guy who used to do transmissions in parking lots, it just has a standard 2-car garage, not really great for working on cars. So I'm going to build kind of a 1-car garage in the backyard, ultimate plan, and make it like set up for filming and that kind of stuff. So I can cater towards my YouTube stuff, which is kind of fallen by the wayside as well. But that being said, I just couldn't carry all the cars with me. It's just too much. Half of them were not running, which is not ideal when you're trying to move, like, or
sell, but also move.
Either way, even moving though, like I got to do 2 quick moves here, and it's just a nightmare trying to move cars that don't move
twice.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And eventually find time to work on them. Who knows? So a couple cars I owned for a long time. So the first one I got rid of, that I think we left off with the TSX. I had just sold the TSX.
Right.
I got asking price for it. A fantastic car. Now out of the stuff that was just sitting, I had that Summit wagon, which was an absolute peach. I started working on it, shot the intro and everything, never aired it because when I was doing the basically the checkout inspection before I get into the project, I pulled that fuel pump and the whole sending unit disintegrated. And I'm like, oh, this sucks. So you can find a fuel pump, you just can't find anything else. And there's tons of MacGyver stuff to do. And I'm like, I don't have the bandwidth. I was going to slap a new, fuel pump in there and, get
it idling and call it done and push it out the door.
Timing belt water pump, something like that. Maybe take a weekend to 2 weekends to finish. But with that, I'm like, I can't. It's out of my league now. And if I had time, absolutely love that car. It was so cool, dude. It was in such good condition. So I let that go. That thing got insane. My phone just blew up. I listed it for
wild.
I listed it for $750. This thing hadn't run and it was parked in 07. Just
no title, right?
No title. It had no keys when I got it. So I got the keys, got everything, and it would crank. I mean, it wouldn't crank, sorry, because the fuel pump, you could not hear the fuel pump prime, but the keys would have cranked it. So that's a huge hit because when you don't
the motor would turn over, right? Like the starter would crank the motor, it would just crank, no start.
No fuel. But and you can crank it all day.
Overrated. Fuel overrated.
Yeah, just finding a key was the biggest success, right? So getting the runaround, changing out cylinders, whatever. But that became a bidding war. Someone came and got it. It was highly contested. They're super happy. I got rid of the Neon, which I had for another 3 years, my Neon ACR. And that car just sat in my overflow garage. I never did anything. Original, whatever the oil that came with it, fuel, at least 3 years old. Sat there with a dead ass battery, not even on a tender. Dude, I listed it. I just fucking listed it. And I couldn't get the thing to start until the guy came and I hooked the jump pack up, started it. We took it for a drive. It drove great. Dude, this car it was running on like...
What'd you sell it for? So, it was running on straight varnish, but what'd you sell it for?
I think I sold it for like $1,500.
I don't need that. Thank you for not selling that because I would have done that. But thank you.
Dude, it fucking started and ran fine.
Of course it did.
Anyway,
Mopar, baby. Let's go.
So next thing I sold was the NX 2000.
Heartbreaker.
So that's car number 4 that I've sold in quick succession here. So the NX 2000 was great. I put a lot of work into the suspension. That was a full resto. I brought that car back pretty well. Past smog, flying colors. That's a great sign for a car outside of California its whole life. That got crazy. So I listed on Marketplace, just kind of like I got to get rid of it. Let's see what I can get.
Right.
What did I list that thing for? 52. Bidding war. Instant bidding war.
Of course. Yeah.
So I let that thing go for right around 6, which is about what we talked about, what it would probably go for. Dude, everybody was so pumped. A guy came, the first guy, it was listed for 2 hours and I had at least a line of 12 buyers ready to buy it. Go find another one in that shape. and he bought it for his 16-year-old son's first car. And I'm like,
good. That makes me feel less sad.
Super happy about that, right?
Yeah,
and I take the kid. I'm just standing there, and the mom and dad are there, and they're both really funny folks. And the mom's like, "I saw your videos; they're pretty good." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then I take the son's like me.
You're so fucking hot.
Yeah. Like, she come with the car.
She's going full. What is it? Jane Seymour in Wedding Crashers. Yeah. Anyways,
hold on. So I'm standing to the back with the kid, and I'm like, I can't believe you're getting this as your first car. I had a Chevy Corsica.
Yeah, right.
Like, he's like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, you're good. Good that you don't have to. You don't have to. So anyway, he's happy. Just 2 days ago, so that was a little while ago, a guy reaches out to me on Marketplace Messenger, messaging me on Facebook, and he goes, I just missed your listing. I didn't reach out because I saw it go to sold, but I want to reach out again. He's like, I can't find another one like it. Can you give me the buyer's information? Like, ask.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, I'll offer him more than what he paid. And I reached out to the guy first. He's like, no, hell no, we're not selling it. And I'm like, well, just in case, later on, right? And he's like, no, it's always good to have someone that's interested. This guy was like an enthusiast. So I gave him the contact, and they're talking about it. I'm like, that's the first I've ever had that happen to me.
Right. You get to play matchmaker. I feel like you should get like a $250 like finder's fee if that shit goes down like that.
Yeah, exactly. I should have been like to the buyer. I'm like, I'll buy it back for full price. We'll just give me the car back, and I'll sell it to this guy.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's tight though. That's going to be a kid's first car, because what's wild is, like, I think back to, so my first car, right, was my Barracuda 1965, which feels incredibly old,
right?
But then, like, so I graduated you said this kid's 16. Okay, so he's going to graduate in what, let's call it 2026.
Yeah,
right. Kid's graduating in 26, maybe even 27, right? Whichever. Let's do, just for math's sake, let's say 27, right? That's 25 years beyond when I graduated. I graduated in 2002, right? So like the 1965, so 25 years on top of 1965 is like 1990, right? Like, that math checks out. So like, that's how old that car is to this kid, as my 65 Barracuda was to me in high school.
Yeah, it's a 93, so a little more, actually.
Yeah, so exactly. Within a rounding error's worth of years. Wild, crazy to think, and like how cool of a car that is, and that's rad. I hope you should have pumped the pod to the kid, and he can listen to us talking about it right now. That'd be fun.
Yeah, he was a cool kid, dude. He was into it too. His friends are all into like cool, weird cards, and I'm like, it's so cool to see these young guys gravitating to the cars we grew up admiring. You know, because they're so weird. These cars are so weird, and just these kids are they have no concept. Like, what's a 93 NX 2000? I don't know. I was born like 5 minutes ago.
Right. Yeah. I was born in 08 or something, like soul hurtingly. But yeah, no, that's dope. Have you run out of things to sell, my friend? Or are you continuing to sell more cars? Are you turning wrenches? What's going on?
So I'm pretty much done to like what I'm keeping, what I need to restore. So was I gonna save this, or was I gonna talk about this? I don't know.
I don't know.
Everything's open. The Blazer is back in my possession.
Yeah, the Blazer
around with a new transmission. So
what was the saga there? Because I know there was a whole bunch of like fuckery with the dealership and shop.
Someone put the wrong flywheel in, so it caused the car to vibrate violently, which will happen if it's not clocked correctly.
I was gonna say, was it just installed incorrectly, or was it the wrong flywheel?
So right flywheel installed incorrectly. First, it was the wrong one, swapped it. Then they put another one in, installed that incorrectly, then clocked it the right way, and then got it right. And then the first thing they messed up was they mounted.
Aren't those?
I don't even want to talk. It pissed me off so much, dude. And they were trying to chase like the ECM and stuff. And I'm like, dude,
I remember that.
Please don't talk like that. Like, that's, as soon as someone starts saying, "Oh, I think there's a misfire," you're already in the wrong area. And then you're like, let's replace the car's brain. And I'm like, I gotta go. This is getting deep.
And this was a dealership, right?
Yeah.
It's dealer service its whole life. Like, yeah.
And it is what it is. It's like any shop, you have your good techs and you have your not so good techs, right? Like, in diagnostic skills are a dying breed on these older cars.
Yeah, so, that's like, there are zero people in a Chevrolet dealership right now that were working on those cars in period. Like, there just aren't.
they're used to just hot swapping like Chevy Cruise transmissions or whatever the fuck they're doing nowadays.
Yeah, like pre-OBD is like a dangerous place to live at a delership nowadays. Just don't.
Exactly. But it's dude, I love that truck. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Is it driving good? Like what? Tell me about
it.
it.
Well, I still need to do some big things like the headliner. I got to bring that paint back. I'm going to put the factory radio in it. You know, that's not big stuff, but I'll do like brakes.
I know you got the wheels, right?
Yeah, so I sourced like those 4x4 wheels.
So good.
So good, dude.
So good.
And I'm running off-road AT tires, some Goodyear Wranglers ATs. Perfect fit for that truck.
White letter out?
What's that?
Do you have white letters out, or did they not do white letters?
No, I didn't go white letters on it. They were too much money. I was trying to keep costs down after doing a transmission.
Right.
But man, it's such a cool truck, dude. And I'm pumped. That's going to be a pretty sweet prize to finish off. And I'll probably push it down the road when I'm done. But it's one I want to restore. That I'm going to have a lot of fun with that project. And then, you know, of course, I've got the ZR1 that'll be coming up after that. And that's going to be a fucking monster.
What a cool thing.
I hadn't moved it since I put it in that garage. And when I moved it forward, it was a sample buffet of every fluid in a Corvette ZR1. It was like all there, dude. It was like the rainbow of failure on the garage floor. So I got my work cut out for me for that one. I know that went to a few shops and not gotten fixed for a secondary injector problem. So we'll see what's actually going on. That's going to be a bigger job, but I need to get that one. That might be a long-term keeper. I don't know. And then my Galant, before I buy anything new, the Galant's going to get redone. I'm going to be dude, I got to. I'm holding on to these cars too long, but I've been wanting to drive the Galant. I've got, like I said, I bought suspension for it. I want to do a slightly bigger turbo injector, sneaky mods.
And doing like 16G?
Probably like the Force Performance has like an HP 68, which is like more effective or more efficient than a Evo 3, but same kind of footprint.
Sure.
So running something like that,
Modern tech.
I want to be like 300 horsepower land.
That'd be good.
Yeah, and that's fast with that car. 300 wheels, quick. So that's the thing. You tighten up the suspension, and ideally, that's going to be my future like rally car, like set up perfect for rally. Because I think it's kind of perfect because it can do like weather, you know, any terrain. And once it's dialed in, it'll be quick enough and fun enough. So
done a rally in a stock one, and it was good.
Really good. That car was fantastic, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the plan, dude. And I just had my heart broken probably 20 minutes before we got on air. I said I wasn't going to buy another
syphilis.
I wasn't. I mean, that we already knew that was there. But I was going to buy another car, Frank, which is absolutely stupid because I swore off cars, but it was a car I couldn't pass, and I'll save it. I'll save it for PCP. How about that? We'll dangle that one in the air.
Okay. I really hope you said you've broken your heart. Your heart's broken not because you couldn't get it or it got away, but because it's in your driveway and you've broken your heart because you made a promise to yourself that you weren't going to buy another car till the Galant was going.
No, it's sad. You're going to be like, when I tell you why I didn't get it, you're going to be like,
because of the end stage syphilis. No, I get it.
I mean, that'll bar you from getting some fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
fun to get, but not fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, it could also be decidedly unfun to get, depending on the situation in which you get end stage syphilis.
Fair enough.
Speaking of syphilitic,
how about you, man? How about you? You're back. I love the constants in life. My entire garage that's always been full of all my. Think of all my tools are gone, dude. Cars are gone. Frank's background. It's like a cave painting. It doesn't get hit.
We're going to get into that, my friend.
It's sorry guys. It's his Porsche 924 Turbo is literally right there every time.
Let's just say it involves a potential total loss. Like we'll get into that.
Dude, you put so much time.
We will get into that.
Okay, love it. All right, catch me up, Frank, where you been? What have you been doing?
Okay. So I remember last time, and bear with me because my brain is soup because we haven't recorded in a while, and all because of the intravenous drugs I've been abusing.
Of course.
But I remember last time we were talking the trials and tribulations of me trying to and hopefully successfully selling the Woody wagon.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
You had someone living in it at one point.
There was a human being that was occupying it temporarily.
Fair enough.
Who I unfortunately had to. Yeah, I begrudgingly became a temporary landlord. She is, I don't want to say no longer with us, but she's no longer with us, like with me in the vehicle. I'm assuming I'm assuming
waving at me right now.
Yeah, I'm assuming she's still of this earth, and not within it, like under the ground. But the wagon has moved on. It has been sold. I want to say I talked about the circumstances of its sale, which
you did. Yep, that was a
fuel pump and all that stuff, right? Gone.
Yep,
it's gone. Everything's great. So I ended up getting a text message. This is what I don't think I went over. So after all of that, right after the last recording of the podcast, I got a text message from the gentleman who purchased it from me. I believe his name is Kevin. Kevin sounds a perfectly reasonable name. Kevin. He's not a disease. He's an excellent human being. He's Canadian. He's very friendly. He bought this wagon. It's lovely. He texted me. So he's like, hey, I was poking around the car and I found like a random hidden cubby hole. And in the hidden cubby hole was a big old brick of service records, like back to a long time ago from the original owner.
Big old brick. You had me, man. I was like,
yeah. Here we go. A brick tightly wrapped. Yeah, no. Not a brick of black tar Mexican heroin.
God damn.
But a brick of service records and all this stuff. And he's like, hey, I was going through it, and it seems like this issue with maybe it's a fuel pump dying, whatever. My mechanic said it was the injectors, and it wasn't. And then it seems like the fuel pump issue, whatever. It's like, it seems like they've been chasing this issue for a long time, like looking through the records. He's like, I dropped the tank, and they had replaced a section of fuel line between the in-tank pump and then like it's like hard line out of the pump, and it was like metal hard line all the way up, but they sectioned out a chunk of it because maybe it was rusted or something. It was resting against the top of the tank, and they replaced it with rubber, and then just put the tank up and just crushed it when they installed the tank. He's like, so I think he's like, I'm hoping that's the problem. He's like, I've got the tank out. I'm going to put a fresh pump in it anyways, but I'm hoping this is the problem, because like you could see it was all smashed. Like they just smashed it between the tank and the body. Okay. That could be it too. Great. Yeah. But he's like, I found the name of the original owner, and it was a one owner car till it was donated. It came out of Santa Rosa. And he's like, it's this gal named, I believe it was Barbara Dusty Rhodes is her name. And she is as it turns out, she is a labor, like a pro-labor and feminist absolute icon from like the 60s and 70s. And there's multiple documentaries about her. There's PBS did a whole documentary about her where in the early 70s. So back in the day, if you were a quote unquote stewardess for an airline, they had mandatory retirement at age 32. Dang. You're too old. Nobody wants to see, because you had to wear shorts, like booty shorts and shit. And it was like mandatory retirement. And so she came back, was like, this is bullshit. And she started to like organize like labor organization around that part of the airline industry and greater feminist movement and stuff. And so she was the reason that got overturned. It was no longer a common practice, and like super influential. Like there's a Wikipedia article about her and all this stuff. Wow. And sure as shit, it was her Woody wagon. Dude, that was her car. She was the original owner. She owned it the whole time. I had no idea.
And Frank, you kicked a transient woman out of this.
Yes, I did. Yes, indeed, my friend.
Son of a bitch.
Oh man, I did not. That irony did not get past me, sir. I was nice to her. Okay, like I personally escorted her luggage and her dog and such out of the car. I didn't. I wasn't mad because she was over 32 and in my car. I was mad because she was in my car.
Frank, what if it was that woman?
No. Here's the thing. I did my homework. Okay. And I don't want to say fortunately, because that makes me seem like a monster.
She's no longer with us.
She passed away in November of 23, and that predicated the car being donated. That's why it was donated. Okay. And she passed in Santa Rosa, California. Like it absolutely was her car. And so what's crazy is that was the Woody wagon. Before that, the last car I sold, the 924,
yes,
was also owned by like I don't want to call her a feminist icon because she wasn't that famous, but like a pioneer in like a lady engineer. She was one of the first women to graduate from MIT, and she wrote her memoirs. And like, I suddenly have a knack for owning cool old cars that used to belong to like prominent strong women. I'm pretty okay with that. I think that's pretty dope.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah,
but that car's gone, and I thought that was a cool anecdote about the Woody wagon. And yes, I evicted a lady out of it. Fine, be that way
while the vehicle was moving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, freeway speeds. As my son would say, yeeted her out of the car with her small animal
with her
companion
puppy.
Yeah, skibbity toileted her. I don't know. The kids these days. I don't know. I don't have the riz to talk like this. What can I say?
Yeah, no cap, dude. No cap.
Yeah, no cap. Bet. So other things I've been doing. Besides actual PCP. Okay, so the Woody wagon had a good story. That is down the road. Crossfire. I put 1,100 freaking hard miles. Maybe only 700 of it was hard.
Okay.
But I took the Crossfire on the Driving While Awesome Rally 15. And
how was it? How many tenths did you push that car? Would you accurately describe?
I don't know if I ever got to 10 tenths. Okay. But there were some parts of those mostly the second half of the second day where I was really giving it the beans, so to speak, in that thing.
Yeah.
And it did not complain. It was actually, it's hard to do this, but like, I don't want to come.
You gonna call this car sporty real now? Are we going there?
It's good. It's not great.
No one said that about a Stellantis.
It's not transcendent.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is pre-Stellantis, sir.
True.
This was Daimler-Benz.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you take a modern product, you probably wouldn't have made it as well, for sure.
Perhaps, but it was almost. I don't want to. I'm trying to not be like hyperbolic here. Because I want to be clear, it has its faults. It's not perfect. Certainly for under 4,500. Well, with tires, call it $5,000.
It's a hard number. Yeah.
Very, very, very good. And it's the right size. It is comfortable enough. Like very comfortable enough. It's got AC, it's got heated seats, it's got leather. It's like modern. Compared to the beaters that like you and I are used to like kicking the shit out of.
Yeah, right.
It's beyond luxurious. I had no qualms about reliability. I mean, that engine is largely bulletproof.
Yep.
Manual transmission. I'm not going to hurt it unless the only way I hurt that car is if I money shifted it or I just slid it off the road, which I did neither of those. Good. Very good. It's like it's the right amount of compliant for some busted ass roads and a gravel stage, of which there were both of those. But I was pushing it and running. It's hard to measure, right? It's like, oh, I was running with burr. Like, I don't know what they're doing. They could have been edging the whole time they were driving, like not paying attention. I don't know. So I'm not gonna like, and let's face it, I'm kind of like a D+ driver. Like I'm not that good of a driver, but like kind of sort of running and pushing hard with like a new BRZ and stuff like that, which is
that's impressive. Yeah.
And
actually handles.
Right. And half of that is like the car's fresh. The car has 47,000 miles on it now. And very, very fresh, decent like I put Bridgestone Potenzas on it. And they were good. Not perfect, but good. Very, very good car. I don't, visibility out the back is not great.
Yeah.
A 6,000 RPM red line. If it was 7, I would have been so much happier.
Yeah.
Just with some of the roads and like not like I don't want to downshift here. especially really tight technical stuff where I'm in second. I'm like, I'm not downshifting into first. I'm just not going to do it. And then I ring it out, and I'm like, I would want to upshift to third, but for like 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
And if I had an extra 1,000 RPM, it just, my life would have been easier.
Sure.
But like for a $5,000 car,
nice. Yeah.
you know, it's 70% of the way to a clown shoe, and and as you yak into your Miller Lite, which you know, I don't know. It was very, very good. I really have to give it a bath. On the washboard road, I all but lost the rear emblem. It like wiggled its way off. It was like hanging by thread. It's just taped on, so I yanked it off. I got to retape it. Most of the oil burning from the valve covers has gone away, to the point where I'm almost tempted to like not change the gaskets.
Check your oil.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I'm 4.5 course low. No,
it fixed itself.
Yay. Yeah, it's replaced the leak with a loud clattering sound. But no, it was very, very, very good. People seem to enjoy its presence. I'll put it that way. And still, I think my overwhelming takeaway after all of that is, honestly, if it was not badged a Chrysler product, if honestly, if they just called it the Mercedes SLC, and it was just like a coupe, like an exotic looking coupified SLK, I think it would be worth at least double what it's worth today.
100%.
Full stop.
With you. Yep.
And so I don't know. I think it's a great bargain. That said, I'm again trying not to be hyperbolic. It's not this transcendent piece of kit. Like I don't, you know, I'm not getting the Chrysler Crossfire lower back tat yet. So that was a thing. So the next steps on that are, I just need to at the very least get the rear bumper painted and the fuel door painted, and then the windshield trim painted. I could sell it that way. I think, because I've been talking loudly about how leaky those valve cover gaskets are at this point, and I have the parts, I think I'll probably just do it and then sell it. Let it rip no reserve, and it'll go. And I don't have another use for a 2-seater. The S2000 is not going anywhere, so it'll sell for like 7, or maybe if I'm lucky, $8,000.
Oh, you're telling me the Crossfire didn't dethrone the S2000? Damn.
Yeah. Sorry, family. S2000. Yeah, I'm actually just gonna total it to make it go away. Speaking of totaling, and we'll see. That's speaking of being hyperbolic. So a couple other pieces of news. So before I get to the paperweight behind me, we definitely didn't talk about this. It's been too long. I'm used to like this 1 week cadence where we talk like and whatever. And now, so I got a call last week from my homie Glenn. Glenn is the gentleman who has the quote unquote small time restoration shop in Vallejo, California, who has been working on my Barracuda, my first car, the 65 Barracuda. The garage I'm in right now recording didn't exist when I went to his house. It went to his place when my old dog shit garage got knocked down to build the one I'm in right now. That was in early 2016.
Wow. Okay.
That's it's been 7-ish years. Yeah. 7+ years. So he calls me and he's like, "Hey, the car's gonna be done in 2 weeks." I'm like, "Oh shit." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, it's done. It's in paint. All the glass is in it. He's like, I've got a homework assignment. I can put your old taillight lenses in it, but they're all spider cracked, and they have been since I've owned the car. Or you can get new ones. It's up to you. I got to put it back together. At the very least, I need gaskets for the tail lamp assemblies, unless you want them to fill with water. The old ones turn into dust when I remove them. Perfect. Great. Order that. Need new rocker clips for the rocker moldings. 2 weeks. Okay, great. I'll get those parts. I'll bring them to you. So I'm like, "Oh shit, dude. Like, it's got a fresh freaking paint job. I'm not just gonna like park it on the street, right? Like, I need to get it in here in the garage."
Point, yeah.
So I'm like, all right, especially now, like into the teeth of winter. So, okay, well, let me, I had started, I got mostly back the 924 turbo, which is in the garage behind me and has been for quite some time. Need to get it back together, right? So put the cluster back together, got it back in, steering wheels back on it, get the trim all back. Great. It's been on you can kind of see the cord back here. It's been on a tender, on a trickle charger this whole time, a C-Tech one, like the cheapest C-Tech charger you can get, but a C-Tech one nonetheless. Great. Okay, let me start it up. So I open up the garage doors, start it up. Starts up, and I hadn't started it, and you'd seen it back there, but I've started it like occasionally just to make sure, like, it's a Bosch CIS system, and the last thing I want is to fill that thing with varnish because that also totals the car.
Yeah.
So start it up, it runs, right? I let it idle for a long time, gets the operating temps. Okay, everything's great, all systems go, right? So see how the hood is up behind me? It's been a fixture there like that. Shut the hood. Bah! The moment the hood hits the latch, dead.
Yep.
Damn. Okay, that's weird. Open up the hood, making sure, like, somehow from sitting, now suddenly the hood, there's like a clearance issue. Maybe it's arcing something.
Yeah.
The distributor's pretty close. Maybe it like did something. Maybe it shorted out the coil wire off the distributor.
Definitely sharded.
It did something. Nothing. Okay, fine. Weird. Open up the hood. Now I've got a crank no start issue. Shit. And then I noticed, like, key on. Normally on these cars and any Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche product of this era, key on. You hear the fuel pump run for like 2 seconds.
Yep.
Key on. It's not doing it at all. Key on, nothing. I know that it's dead stick out of the fuel pump. I'm like, well, okay, that would explain why it's not running. Like there's just no fuel. Okay, great. I don't have time to deal with it right now. Whatever. Go about my business. I come back like 4 hours later. Completely dead.
Ooh.
Put a multimeter on the battery. What do you think the battery's reading? What's dead for a battery?
2 volts.
0.05.
What did you do?
Like subterranean dead.
Yeah.
Like dig a hole and put your battery into it and then try and start your car. Levels of dead.
Yeah. Less electricity than a potato. Yeah.
Genuinely. Yeah. Yeah. Banana scale. So I go, okay, fine. So let me put it on the tender, right? Put it on the tender. I'll come back in the morning, right? Come back in the morning, hop in the car. Nothing. So I go, shit. So I look at the tender and it's not charging. It's just not doing anything.
It's too low.
It's got a little reset button. So I hold down the reset button and it goes click, click. Try to get click, click. It keeps faulting. Like it won't, nope. Like it won't charge. Like, nope, can't do this. Like almost like they're like cross terminal or something. Like shit.
Yeah. Huh.
But remove the negative terminal off, right? I say, all right, fine. Fucker. Like I'll just charge the battery sitting in the car. So I just put it on the one on a negative lead, one on the positive. I just disconnected the negative from the car and it starts charging. Okay, fine. That'll charge. That's fine. So I leave. I come back the next day, right? I take the trickle charger off. It says it's fine. I put it in 13.4 volts on the button.
Let's go.
Perfect. Yeah. That's great. Battery's not ruined despite what I just did to it. Fine. Put the negative on. Right when I connect the negative terminal, the not this one, not the driver's side, but the passenger side running light illuminates.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, only that light, no other lights. And I have the headlights up because I changed out this driver side bulb because it was bad and I had a spare one. So I put a bulb in it while it was sitting. That's weird. And then you see how the windshield, see how like there's sweep marks in it?
Mm-hmm.
Windshield wipers.
Oh,
no. Like that's weird. So I go, but I have the cluster out, right? I was like, well, maybe I bumped the wipers. Nope. I can't get them to turn off. So I disconnect the motor to it. I'm like, fuck it. I just unplugged it. Lights on. I'm like, all right, let me turn the light off. And I look and the lights are off.
Oh no.
So I hit it on and hit them off and nothing happens. The lights don't turn on, but the running light is just on and the blinker indicator is just permanently illuminated on the cluster. So that's weird. So I hit the lights on again. And this time I hit it in here. That's weird. Turn them off. Turn the lights back on. Now I turned the headlights on. The lights don't turn on, but it fires the fuel pump.
What the fuck? Do you fry the ECU, the ECM,
So I'm
or
like, what the fuck?
PCM, whatever it's called?
So then I start looking at PCP. So I start looking around and I'm like, and I look over on the passenger floor. There's some like detritus of like let's call it insulation material from the lower dash, right? Just like on the ground.
Oh
right?
no!
Well, that's weird. God damn it! I know I've had like mice running around in this garage
No.
semi recently. So I start poking around under the hood and I see some droppings. I'm like, God damn it,
dude!
So I went ahead. I filed. I've been a Haggerty customer for like 15 years, so I filed a claim. I was like, you know what? Before I touch anything else, I don't want to disturb the crime scene.
Right.
And which would be kind of a pretty sad end. You know, I've got it insured for an agreed value of 10 grand, and if it needs a harness at a Porsche shop that's willing to work on this car, it's effectively totaled.
Is the computer right about that area too?
There's so almost no computer in this car.
Right, but don't they have like a sensor bank? All the main harness passes right under there, and
yeah, there's a I got to poke around it some more. I got to do that this weekend, but there is a there's like an emissions control unit. There's a couple of modules, but I assumed that like some harness got nibbled apart, and the moment like it was like on the verge of like arcing out, and the moment I dropped that hood,
yep,
bang, it was just enough to jostle, just enough. So here we are.
Dang it, man!
It might have just instantly turned into a parts car the moment I dropped that hood, which is a shame.
And you put a lot. This isn't like a car.
Oh yeah,
been idly sitting. Frank's putting a lot of time in his car.
Yeah,
and we talked about it. You did timing belt. You did a water pump.
Water pump. The seats have been recovered. It's got brand new tires. I did all the entire evap system is all brand new on it. I did door weather stripping. I did new liftgate struts. I did what else did I do? Just a bunch
on. I know you did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, because the trip odometer is being wonky, and I was going to change out the glass faces, and they ended up being aftermarket. So I don't know. Like it's not particularly how I wanted to end my time with the car, and who knows? Like maybe it'll go to a shop and like, oh, it's like 2 wires are crossed, and it's like a $900 repair, and it's back on the road.
You just never know with a short.
That'd be fine. Right? Yeah. It also could be like, oh, this is obviously totaled.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see, and then again, because I'm an idiot, part of me is like, well, if they total it, like how much to buy it back, which I don't need, I don't want, like right. But if it's like $1,500, like ooh, I spent that much on the seats, I can, ooh, like you know what I mean, like.
Hopefully you can part some of that stuff out and like you can live.
I don't have. That's the problem. I don't have time to part it out.
I know, but it's
like the wheels and tires are worth at least that. And so like I just
the seats are worth it.
The wheels and tires, the seats, like there's a like all the turbocharging goodies, the
motor,
the hood, the hood, the transmission. Like it's got mystery lowering spring. It's a good car. It's just not worth anything.
Yeah,
which has been the bugaboo of the whole car this whole time I've owned it.
Sure,
like, it's cool.
If it was a 911 or something, sure, it'd be worth putting extra money into. But it's a 924, and I love 924s. I think they're pretty cool. But there's like zero value compared to like the amount of work you're going to have to potentially put into it. It's
the world's nicest 924 turbo, like standard non Carrera GT, just like regular basic bitch 924 turbo, like my car. Maybe a $20,000 car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, mine probably is worth the 10 grand I have it insured for. Like, it's not, this is not some like come up.
Yeah.
It's mostly kind of sad, but we'll see. We'll see that Adjuster comes out on Tuesday. We shall see.
Well, on that somber note, that's shitty. That really sucks. Can we quiz one another?
Oh,
we still do that?
Get quizzical. Yeah, we do still do that. We're still looking for a sponsor. UJIZ has not responded to my tour, my bukkake of inquiries. So until that happens, this is yet to be a sponsored segment. Who's quizzing upon who? It's been too damn long. I think
did I throw the quiz ropes on you last time? I think I did.
You might have.
Yeah.
So at risk of getting this all messed up, let me quiz upon you, my friend.
Let's do this, because I think I got you. I did the Suzuki Aereo last time.
You did. You got me with the Suzuki Areola, and I will
return.
How about this? I will return the favor. And with a car that maybe we've done before, maybe not. I don't know. I didn't even look on the thing, because why would I? How about, and by the thing, I mean we have a running Excel spreadsheet, so to speak.
20 episodes.
Right. That has some of these on there. We try and stay semi-organized. And by that I mean Chadwick forces me to. I'm gonna pull this ad up. Chadwick, why don't you tell the good people at home or in the car or in their goon cave what we're up to?
Absolutely. And I'll shut my laptop just to prepare for fairness. Frank is about to unleash upon me. It's not just quiz jizz. It's actually a automotive print ad from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. And mostly it is quiz jizz also. Found in a magazine periodical written publication of the time. He's going to read through that, omitting anything that gives it away. I have 3 guesses to figure out what make and model, potential year, and trim for bonus points he is talking about. Every time I miss it, I can ask for help, get a little lifeline action, and he can decide how he's going to put his boot on my face to push me under the waves, like he's into it does. But 10 minutes also. There's 10 minutes on the clock once he starts. And that's basically how it goes. It's the Automotive Print Ad Quiz Game Show. Copyright pending on that name. Frank.
Yeah.
What do you got?
What I got right here. Okay, so here's what we are up against. This is a 1-page advertisement.
Oh, we're coming back with a good one.
We've got the car in question here. The bottom, say, quarter of the advertisement. It's doing a little bit of a Dutch angle, right? Like it's like lower and looking up, and the car's kind of at an angle. The passenger front quarter shot. And then it's got a little illustration of the combustion chamber, which is fun. And then at the very, very top, it has, for whatever reason, just like the last 8.5 inches of the car at like a 60-degree angle, just kind of like going off, like up, back, and to the left, just like going up off the page.
Interesting.
And then it has the name of the car, and it says blank. Step on the exhilarator. Just when you've pledged to buy a practical car this year, you find yourself drooling over the new sport luxury blank. And why not? It even looks fast standing still. It's sporty enough to turn heads as easily as it turns corners. But here's the news that could put a blank in your driveway. It's equipped with the remarkable Naps Z engine, resulting in a combustion of acceleration and mileage you've never thought possible. The ever popular 0 to 50 in less than 8.5 seconds. 28 miles per gallon. So go ahead. Treat yourself to fuel injection, power windows, power steering, and powerful styling. Underneath it all, you're really being practical. From the blank, worldwide leader in automotive excellence. It then shows it's got this little the little illustration I was talking about, the combustion chamber. Underneath it says the Nap Z engine with 2 spark plugs per cylinder burns fuel more efficiently. EPA estimates are, for comparisons, standard 5-speed stick. Actual mileage may differ depending on speed, trip length, and weather. Actual highway mileage will probably be less than this estimate. It then gives a 28 miles per gallon city, 39 highway.
Get out of here.
All right, my friend.
I have a 0 to 50 time of 8.5.
It all comes down to the Naps Z engine, which is moniker.
Yes, which is
dual
interesting.
spark.
They didn't describe the displacement or the engine layout, which is interesting. Um,
I suppose based on the 0 to 50 time, you can probably figure out the cylinder count.
yeah, it's not the
It's a
sportiest
flat 12.
sport, boys. Oh, do you have 10 minutes on the clock?
Yeah, we're going. We're
I'll be
clicking. We're
floundering. Oh
clicking. It's
boy.
about 9:20.
Nap Z 8.5. This is gotta be 82 to 84 time range. I got a feeling for what we're talking about here. Based on just the wording alone. Nap Z.
And let me spell it for you. NAPS dash Z engine.
Okay.
Naps Z.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, what's a nap? Like Banksy, but so Z.
Naps Z.
That changes things a little bit.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, the thing is though, guessing the model correctly, was it only in that car? That's it, right? So
I don't know.
It doesn't read like a German ad at all. It's like talking about. It sounds Japanese to me, and Z solidifies that Z. If I'm in that time period, this isn't like a. This can't be like a 240, 260, 280 because they would have talked about an inline six and all kinds of other silly stuff. And that isn't 0 to 50 and 8.5 is not a inline six motor for sure. So I think we're dealing with a four cylinder. I think my time period's still correct though. So this would be the four cylinder Z, which it wasn't a Z car. This is tricky because I'm thinking Datsun, right? It's like Datsun stuff had a lot. Cut it out. Wait, anything about, I can't remember. Did you say anything about carburation versus fuel injection? Or did you not?
Go ahead. Treat yourself to fuel injection.
Okay.
Power windows,
cool.
Power steering, and power styling.
So we are not talking about the Datsuns we talk about how much we love all the time. I think
it's only the ones we hate.
Yeah, these are the ones that these are not the Datsuns.
I want these ones to burn in hell.
Is this an early? This would be an early. This would be like one of the earliest. Is this a Nissan by Datsun 200 SX? I guess it would be the coupe. Is all they had.
Datsun 200 SX step
82
on the exhilarator. 82. You know what? It doesn't give me a year, but I think this is 81.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe 1980 was an L20B carryover. And then I think 81 got this motor, the Nap Z, which was they had the same motor because it was the Z20, the Nap Z motor, the dual spark, which it's funny, they say it like it's for performance and fuel economy, and really it was just purely for emissions reasons.
Yep.
Kind of like some of those early 90s Rangers, same shit. But they also did the same motor, but the 2.4 liter in the trucks at the time.
That's right.
The Nap Z motor. Good job, sir.
Yes. I think it's a good one, dude. Because my brain went to like Datsun, but we would have been, well, first it went to Z's, and then
it was Datsun. It's funny because it's like Datsun, and in the corner at the very end where it says from Nissan Motor Company Limited, worldwide leader in automotive excellence. So this was like that's part of why I think it's 81. Because what was really funny about this era of Nissan / Datsun was, I think 81, I believe, was the first year they started the dual name convention. But it was still like Datsun, let's mention Nissan. And then you got to 82, and it was like Datsun by Nissan.
Yep.
And then you got to 83, and it was like Nissan by Datsun. It's like they every year. And then by 84, it was just straight Nissan.
Yeah.
And so they kind of baked it in. And so I'm pretty sure this is 81.
Those were cool cars, man. I like the later ones, the S12 200 SXs.
Those are proper good cars.
Yeah.
These ones were these S110, I think is what the chassis. They're kind of terrible. I think I looked it up and because I found a different ad. I wanted an ad on this car particularly. And I found some other ones that like had less technical shit to play with.
Okay.
So it was going to be impossible. but one of them, it did mention the horsepower. Guess the horsepower.
It's got to be like, this is going to be like a 76 or 84 horsepower car.
Oh, it's more than that, my friend.
Really? The Napsy?
100 horsepower.
My bad. Datsun by Nissan. I didn't mean to step on your dick there.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to send you in the little chat here. I'm going to send you a link to it so you can check it out. Honestly, maybe they're just like, they're cool in retrospect.
It's like a bronzy brown looking car.
Yep.
Bless you.
Oh my.
Good
Speaking
Lord.
of late stage syphilis, no, like not a
he's
great
trying to start
car.
his 924 there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Speaking of sickly, yeah, I'm actually getting the hantavirus from the room right
I've been there.
Yeah. Just not a good, like, if you look at this car and you realize why you don't see them anymore, it's just like you look at other competitors, right? Like,
yeah,
Sirocco, way sexier of a car. Celica, way sexier of a car. Even the first gen Prelude, which is not a great car, much better product.
Yep.
Let alone like, you know, E21 BMW and God, what else? Like name your product. Like they're kind of all better, right? Like even like Mitsubishi support or Plymouth Sapporo.
Yeah, still better. Yeah, somehow.
Yeah, Galant Sigma. Yeah, better. So
that was a good one, dude. That was pretty tricky. Thanks for clarifying what the fuck Napsy. I was like, what is he saying? What is Napsy? And then power of deduction there. Cool. Well, let's celebrate that surprise victory with a little PCP usage, and that's Project Car Progress. And I don't think we kind of talked about PCP the whole episode, so maybe just a quick burst. I just have to round out. If you have some actual PCP, you should go first, maybe just like a couple minutes, and then I've got the hint, the car that broke my heart, that I need to kind of finish that.
Yeah, you need to do that. I mean, the car that's breaking my heart currently is behind me. I don't know. I don't think I'll have any news on that soon because, you know, insurance stuff is a slow boat. What I need to do is get it out of my garage because there's two things I need to do. I need to, if I'm good, my plan was to get this car out of here, not just to get the Barracuda in here, but to get the Crossfire in here real quick, do the valve covers,
right,
turn that and burn it. That shouldn't take me all that long. That's probably 3-ish hours max to do, but I'll probably go slow and drink a bunch of beer, so it'd be a 4-hour job.
Sure.
So like I need to do that, but if this car's bricked, which it kind of is, it's just frustrating. So that will come to a conclusion, and then I need to deal with the once I have the Crossfire sorted and sold. I'm waiting to hear back from Doug if Doug wants to do a review video with a 6-speed Crossfire. He might tell me to like, please stop stalking me and leave me alone.
Yeah, which
is a fair assessment. I also need to. I got to get his ass on the pod. We'll do that one day. But yeah, the next thing is the 87 Accord. So I need to get the 87 Accord sorted. I think that will be kind of a fun troubleshooting thing. Like, as much as I hate smog, like troubleshooting smog stuff on like 80s fuel injection stuff is like
so much fun, dude.
I don't call it fun, but like if you figure it out, it's like it's so gratifying. It's like so good,
dude. Yeah.
So I'm hoping, I've got some sneaking suspicions, but we'll figure it out there. That's kind of it. Oh, and real quick, the high school right behind me. I ended up talking to the last Wednesday, the auto shop teacher. I was walking by and I saw like the lights were on and stuff. Went on a walk around the block with the family, right? Just let's get outside. And as I walked by, it was like 7:00 at night, and the lights were on, and there were some kids mulling around, and they had a bunch of old like DJ5 dispatcher Jeeps, which are fun.
Nice, yeah.
And I was like, family, you go home. I'm gonna go harass this high school auto shop teacher. Run along. And so I did. I went in there and was talking. Dude's like, he's like, oh yeah, I just started teaching this year. It's my first year at this school. I was at another school. He's like 40. He's like our age.
Nice.
And we talked for like an hour. Dude's a homie. And he's like, bro, I see that 41 truck like parked. Dude, that's yours. He's like super into it. He's into like really old, shitty off-road vehicles.
Oh, heck yeah.
and like farm implements and stuff. That's like his thing. He's like, I like stuff that is like runs on kerosene and like can't do 40 miles an hour. And it's like you have to like grease the U joints with whale oil and tallow, like really rudimentary shit. And so he's all about it. And so I got to bring it over there. He wants to play with it, and we're gonna.
Dude, that's
I guess they do open houses on Wednesdays, and people can just come and like hang out at the shop.
Oh shit.
And so that's gonna be my shit now because it's a whole like 100 yards from my front door. So
that is sick, dude.
Temporarily, I'm pausing the sale of the truck so I can go hang out with another man, and we can do manly things together and bond. And I'm not cheating on you when I do that. I'm just like, so I'm asking for permission. Anyways,
yeah,
tease me, baby.
So I was not going to buy any vehicles. I've been pretty good. We sold a lot of vehicles. I'm doing the right thing, man. I'm moving towards the me I should be is basically the story here. But something popped up, and it was around like 11 o'clock last night. You know, the
last night, super recent.
Yeah,
okay,
just popped up too. I'll give you a little hint. I know we're up on time, but
we're okay.
It's a wagon. It's a manual. It's pretty damn rare. It's definitely the performance variant.
WA Passat.
I was about to pay $2,400 for this vehicle.
Not a W8. Oh, I mean, if it is a
it'd be rough. That would be walk away money for one of those. I would be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Run away.
There isn't a W8 under the hood at that point. That runs. I don't know if you're going to get this one. This is a tough one.
I'm going to say, no, that's not your type of hype, though. You wouldn't be searching for an E34 525 WAG.
No. Especially when I'm like frozen, except for super unique car popping up. So it's pretty damn hard to find one of these.
They never made a Cressida wagon in a manual. 92 Corolla wagon manual all track.
Those are fucking sweet. They tend to go when they're running more than that much money though.
Right, but that's why it's just like
that would have been a steal.
Yeah.
So Frank, 1997 Saturn SW2.
Oh shit. Okay.
White, one owner.
Dang.
And they only wanted
$2,400.
Yeah. And mint. Paint perfect, interior perfect.
Mileage, you said?
It was like 130.
Okay.
One owner. Just you don't see them. SW2, remember in parlance of Saturn folks, dual cam, twin cam.
The concept of it just made my shit jump.
So I'm like, I gotta see your car, and I'm going 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I'm messaging him, dude, super nice. He's like, yeah, no, he's like, it runs perfect. We just registered it. Registration is good till October next year. I'm like, they just did it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna scoop this thing for $2,000, and it's gonna be insane, right?
Yeah.
I go, hey, and we're back and forth just telling all these. I'm like, hey, I didn't ask, and I didn't see it in the ad. This is a clean title, right? And he goes, nah, man, it's salvage. And I'm like,
no, it got struck by lightning 8 times.
And then he fires back with it's theft. There was never an impact. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm just put it in the fucking ad.
I know. At that point, you're like, not even. It's just like out of spite. If it had like 40 something thousand miles with a salvage title, I'd like, I still kind of gotta get involved. But
it looked like it had 40,000. One owner, and it's in Sunnyvale. So it was an old lady
who steals a manual Saturn wagon, even in period.
That's what I said. Yeah. So, dude,
spidey senses. Yeah.
SW2 with a manual. It's so hard to find one of those, dude. Like that's the performance one, and it was manual everything, stripper edition. So I had the dual overhead cam engine, roll up windows,
crank windows,
AC.
Yeah, that's what's funny is you think now, and I know we're up against it, but like you think now like the manual stuff now is optioned.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s and 90s, and even the early 2000s, if you got the manual, it was the stripper spec. It's because you weren't spending the like $700 option to get the automatic. Like
100%.
That's why you got the manual. It wasn't because you wanted the manual is because you didn't have the money to get the auto. Like that's
it, dude. And those SW2s, the second gen was only 96 to 99. They didn't make a lot of the SWs, and a lot of them were SW1s automatics. This is a W.
Yeah, auto with the textured bumpers. So this one had painted bumpers, right?
Oh yeah, yep. In white, which was cool. Dude, yeah, dual overhead cam engine, 5-speed manual. I was so pumped. If I scooped that for 2, dude, what a steal. What a good car.
Honestly, though, it's probably worth 2.
No,
even with a salvage title. Yeah.
Oh yeah. With a salvage,
it's
title,
worth
sure.
2.
But if it was a clean title, potentially.
Oh yeah, that's like a $6,000 car. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, that broke my heart. And it was like, I felt like it was an innocent question. Like, oh, just to make sure it does have a clean title.
I'm on my way with a brick of cash.
Yeah. And
you're not gonna dick me down with a salvage title, are you?
Yeah, like an hour and 20-minute drive, right? Anyway, that's my heart. Okay, let's shut it down. I'm sorry.
Shut it down.
Double sad notes. Getting the 924 and my Saturn wagon that will never be. I'll keep looking. But guys, we are so happy to be back doing this. Thank you
genuinely
for joining us. Yeah, and we mean it. We thank you guys a ton for stopping by. Please feel free to review the show. Doing so gets more eyes on it. It gets out in the world more. And we want to do that. We want to spread the suffering. Misery loves company, right? I think that's if
you want to review us poorly, I encourage you to do so, but do me a favor. Do like 5 stars or whatever. But then in the comments, just absolutely fucking undress us. Be like, look, these sons of bitches. They teased me with a once a week, every Wednesday interval. And then they rug pulled me and they didn't record for like 4 weeks or however long it's been.
We deserve it. And we're on YouTube too, guys. We do put every episode on the tube. So feel free to subscribe there. It's still free. It's always going to be free, even when we don't even make the podcast anymore, which I feel like we came dangerously close to doing there for a couple months. But yeah, we appreciate it so much. As for my personal endeavors, they're on hold, so don't bother looking me up. If you need to,
look them up.
Obsessive Garage, rescues, restorations, and reviews, and hopefully I'll get back to it once I get a garage again. Frank, where can the good folks follow you?
You can find me on my equally abandoned pages. Like what's crazy is I've been doing a lot of car photography. I've been not doing a lot of posting because I too have been like soul crushingly busy. But if you want to see what I haven't been posting, you can do that at The Photographer's Garage on all of the things. And we are at APA Podcasts on the Scramgram. You can find us on the YouTube. Look up Another Pointless Automotive Podcast. Thank you for listening to this. And I promise one day we will get a good rhythm. We will get better things and guests and other stuff. And this is going to be great. Until then, I appreciate you. Chadwick appreciates you
a ton
with putting up with our nonsense. And we'll see you on the next adventure.
Yeah, we'll keep the streak going. We'll see you guys next week.